This is part 5 of the series of videos I've been doing on the study on the Sabbath sent to me by Joyce JGM. Hello again, Joyce. I'm going to do as I've done in the other videos, read the paragraph and then analyse the content. The paragraph reads, "The apostles came together on the first day of the week to break bread," Acts 20 verse 7. "The collection was taken on the first day of the week," 1 Corinthians 16 verse 2. "When the Sabbath keepers gather together to break bread or take up the collection." It's not on the same day as the early church. They tell us that the Roman Catholic Church changed their day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. But what has that got to do with the disciples keeping the first day of the week? That was the Roman Catholic Church in the early centuries, not the church of the book of Acts. Okay, there's the paragraph. Now I'm going to analyse it sentence by sentence. I don't believe this video will take that long. First sentence, "The apostles came together on the first day of the week to break bread," Acts chapter 20 and verse 7. Please read Acts chapter 2 and verse 46. It reads, "And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart." Acts chapter 2 and verse 46 tells us clearly that the apostles actually met together to break bread every day of the week. So it wasn't a special church service described in Acts chapter 20 and verse 7. And let's have a look at the verse itself. And while I'm turning there, please remember that the Hebrews, the Jews, and the apostles were Hebrews. They actually measured days from sunset to sunset. Keep that in mind as I read Acts chapter 20 and verse 7. It says, "And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread," remember they broke bread every day, "Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight." Now remember, the Hebrews measured days from evening to evening. So when they came together on the first day of the week, it was actually what we would now call Saturday evening. Around, well, it would have been sometime after sunset, or now what we call Saturday evening. That was the beginning of the first day of the week for the Hebrew, and it says that he continued his speech until midnight. So he began to preach sometime after sunset on what we now call Saturday evening, and continued on until the middle of the night or midnight. So it wasn't a Sunday morning service, church service, as people like to think. He was actually speaking to them during the dark part of the first day of the week, which we would now, and I repeat, call Saturday evening. So Acts chapter 20 and verse 7 in no way or form supports first day worship. He then goes on to, or the study then goes on to say, the collection was taken on the first day of the week, 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 2. Let's have a look at that particular verse, 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 2. Just bear with me as I actually turn there. And let's read the verse. It reads, "Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store, as God hath prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come." And it goes on to describe other things. Basically, Paul is saying, look, put your collections aside on the first day of the week, and when I come, I will collect them and take them to wherever they need to go. Again, it's not Paul advocating or describing first day worship. Then it goes on to say, "When do Sabbath keepers gather together to break bread or take up the collection?" We do take collections on the Sabbath day for convenience, but that has nothing to do. It's not a worship service, or there are not worship services described in Acts chapter 20 and verse 7, nor 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 2. It's clutching at straws, basically. It goes on then to read, "It's not on the same day as the early church." They tell us they must be, Sabbath keepers who keep the Sabbath in this day and age. They tell us that the Roman Catholic Church changed their day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. As I've said many times and shown in a number of videos, it's the Catholic Church that declare that they changed the day. I basically quote them when dealing with the issue. But what has that got to do with the disciples keeping the first day of the week? The disciples never kept the first day of the week. That was the Roman Catholic Church in the early centuries, not the church of the book of Acts. I'm not quite sure what the last part of the paragraph is trying to say, but basically the two verses quoted in the paragraph Acts chapter 20 and verse 7 and 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 2 do not advocate or describe worship services. Hopefully I will be making the next video pretty soon. Pray for me as I pray for you, and I pray that you would unbiasedly look into that which I have said.